Alright, let's see what happens in the second round. Looks like we're playing against Yorion this round, which will probably... I think that the companion rule will probably make Yorion unplayable, but whatever. Let's just play and see what happens. My hand is quite good, but I do not have a second land. I can play turn 1 Goose. They probably won't kill it. I can play turn 2 Trail. But then if they have an answer to something at that point, I'm going to be in big trouble. I'm going to keep because I could draw land. And even if I don't draw any lands, I can eventually find a land off the trail. Okay, looks like they're playing Bant. Okay, let's just get the trail into play before they could have a neutralize and start drawing cards as much as I can. Be happy to find more lands. I would especially like to find Cauldron Familiar to go with these ovens. Alright, I'm glad to see Omen rather than Growth Spiral. Maybe there'll be a Teferi. Okay, just a Uro. These decks normally play Elspeth Conquers Death, so I want to keep that in mind. Maybe get the oven into play before I put my Woe Strider into play. And if I can, try to develop a lot of permanents that don't cost 3 mana. Because the expensive permanents are bad against ECD and Teferi. I'll just take another oven. The more the merrier once I find one cat. Trail is good. That can help me really look for my cat. I will shock and then I will look twice more. I could have played a creature to try to attack planeswalkers, but I don't know. My plan was much better against a more controlling deck rather than an aggressive card. But I think I'll still be okay. This deck doesn't play any Murderous Riders or anything. That would be nice. Nice, there's my cat. And I'll just take a land over a goose. I'm going to be able to make so much food. I really need lands at this point. Let's play the Familiar. Let's get the Priest down. That's pretty threatening and can't be answered by ECD. And let's get just one oven down for now. It's never a good feeling to let the opponent untap with a Nissa, but what I'm doing myself is quite powerful. So if I block and sack, then they'll be able to Teferi my priest, and I won't be able to sacrifice it in response, but I think I sort of just have to absorb this damage. If they had played the Teferi first and just tried to bounce my priest, I would probably sack it. Okay, they're playing with Hydroid Krasis. A lot of people don't play with that card anymore, but it is pretty threatening. Claim is good against it, but I don't actually have a way to tutor for Claim. Let me put this cat back into play. Sacrifice. I'll pay 1 mana at a time. See what I find. The goose is good. I'll not search the next time. I have a lot to do. Let's make them sack one of their lands. And that will get me some mana and a card. Also deal them a little bit of damage. Let's cast Oven. Oven. And let's go get a mountain. So I am going to take 6 off the Krasis, but I shouldn't really be taking any more damage from ground creatures. I could even trade off the Woe Strider. It would be nice to get in a poke hit at the Nissa so that I can't ultimate next turn. That was a bit weird that they didn't. Let's just save this trail for the end of the turn once I know what they're doing. So I could trade my Woe Strider or just block with the cat. I do think trading has some value. Cuts them off some mana. Okay, I'll just trade. Okay, they didn't do anything with their mana. That probably means Shark Typhoon. But the shark doesn't have trample, and I can block it with my goose. We already have a bunch of lands, so I guess I'll take a cat. Okay, let's get this next cat down. Then let's make them sacrifice a land. Okay, they didn't even float mana in response. Let me spend my mana on these trails. if I can find anything. Yeah, it's a shame that you can't find the claim off of the trail. Okay, I'll just leave this mana up to use the trail. They can ultimate the Nissa, but that is good to ultimate a Nissa, but it's not the end of the world for me. I have a lot of life loss going towards them every turn. I guess my card viewer is a bit big, but here's the Nissa with 8 counters that's covered a little bit. Okay, so they're going to float their mana, probably play another Nissa. A lot of forests in an 80 card library, obviously. But I think at the end of the day I'll be okay, because I'm going to kill my opponent pretty fast, and they don't have too many things with... Most of their cards take a turn to develop. Gonna take 6 again from the Krasis. Don't want to chump just yet. The Goose could prove useful. Gonna have a lot of food and a lot of cards. Potentially want to use my mana. So it's covered, but they have this emblem, this Omen, and the Nissa. Okay, here's an Uro. Let's just start drawing some cards. I'll take Fabled Passage over a Trail. Okay, Mayhem Devil, that should be lethal. They're so low already. They are going to gain a little bit of life off this Uro. And I guess they could put in a land and maybe cast a spell off of it, but that seems very unlikely. It'd have to be like Aether Gust or Brazen Borrower. And I'm going to use the Ovens every turn, but I'm not going to bring back the Familiar until I get this Devil into play. This one land hand really developed quite well. The Priest does so much damage to them with the Devil out, because I'm sacrificing 2 things and they're sacrificing something. Woe Strider should be good as well. Just going to go to the face with everything. And now let's start to conserve my time. Okay, I probably could have dealt like 30 damage to them that turn if I needed to. Okay, against a Bant deck. Korvold has some appeal. Duress has some appeal. Is anything in my deck bad? I mean, the Claim is good against the Krasis, Shark Typhoon, the Nissa lands, and Uro. So I could actually see Claim being good. Woestrider, Devil, and the Citadel to some effect are not good against Teferi and ECD. They are kind of central to how my deck works. And Weaponize isn't really going to kill a lot of creatures. It's going to be more to try to finish the game. I think really the only card that I might want is Duress. And I think I want to take out a Weaponize. Maybe one Claim. I want to draw Claim versus them, but probably don't want to draw 3 or 4. Whereas against a lot of creature decks, I'm happy to draw 3 or 4. Okay, we'll see if boarding in the Duresses was a good idea or not, because I drew both of them. Could have been a Weaponize and a Claim. They scry to the top. So if I duress right away, I could get a Growth Spiral. So let's do that. I'm going to shock because I have 2 green cards in my hand, so I might want to cast them both next turn. Okay. ECD doesn't do anything against me. Gust doesn't do anything against me. The Shark is not going to be that good either. So let's take the Shark. And then maybe we'll wait a couple turns before we duress again. Okay, there's Claim. That will be good against Uro or the Shark. We play the Oven. That way I can sack Goose if they target it once it's in play. If they just gust it on the stack, I'll just put it to the bottom. I don't need Gilded Goose. Happy to trade that 1 for 1. I get a positive trade on mana. Here comes Uro. So now I probably will duress. Okay, their hand is 2 lands, but obviously they still have that Yorion. If I fetch, I get to get rid of a land and shuffle the Goose back in, which, while the Goose is a bad draw, it's probably a little bit better than drawing a land. Their lands in hand are Passage and Hollowed Fountain. Okay, they're not able to get the Uro out, and they decide not to cast a Naked Yorion. Citadel is okay. If I draw 1 more land, I can cast that. and I cleared the path of potential ECD. Worst case scenario for me here would be a Shark Typhoon. Okay, I'm glad it was nothing. Okay, Fabled Passage, so they can get an Uro into play. But then I'll get to take the Uro myself, draw a card off of it, and make 2 food. Okay, now I don't know their hand anymore. Play both of the lands. Okay, so I could slam the Citadel, but if I draw a land off of the Uro, I can slam the Citadel post-combat anyway. Okay, Aether Gust. I guess I'll put it on top. Playing the Citadel would play around Gust, but I feel like this was better anyway. They might end up blinking the Uro to get rid of it so that I can't steal it, but that's fine. Okay, so they did decide to not leave me with any target for my claim, which, while it's going to blink my draw step, it also basically kills the Uro for free for me. Okay, let's see if they have an answer to this Citadel. I'm going to fetch right now, hope that I get a better card than the Forest. Okay, they cast a small Krasis. I already have a claim and the Priest out. Okay, let's just cast one from my library. Okay. Gonna make food before I sacrifice the goose. I would rather draw a card than get a food. I'll go down to 2 because I have this food, I can gain life. Okay, I'll go down to 1. I think that I don't know if I'll be able to kill them because they've gained so much life this game, but I should be able to have a good effect. Okay, now I think I might be able to kill them. Let me just scry this. I'm really not sure what to do. I haven't played this deck before, but the only way I could lose is like planar cleansing, so let's play as if they might have that. Alright, let's cast this Goose for the life. This food is going to help me out. I might be able to kill them. I'm sort of just going for it and seeing what happens. Bolas's Citadel deals 20 with the Devil out, so I might already have lethal. Yeah, I think at this point I have lethal. I just need to sack everything to this Citadel. That was fun. That's the first time I've gone off with this deck. You saw there, if you right click your target and save targets, it does all of them at the same time. Okay, that was fun. Thanks for watching that one.